Rockeyez would like to welcome Derrick LeFevre. Hey, man, what's up? What's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Tell me a little bit of background before actually, started with Lillian Axe, because I really don't know much about your early days.
Ooh, early days, really early days. I started singing when I was about 16, actually. I really didn't have any plans of being a singer in the first place. I actually wanted to be a guitar player, and the whole thing got started by me. A friend had a band in high school, and I just wanted to basically watch him play guitar, just so maybe I could cop some licks from him or something. So I asked if it was okay if I went to his band's rehearsal, and I did. Well, when I got there, they didn't have a vocalist.
Right.
And I think they were working on a Def Leppard song at the time. Foolin' was the song, and they were like, "By me, any chance you know the words to this song?" And I was aware of, vocals and singing, but I never really wanted to be a singer. And I was like, "Yeah, I know the words. Well, you think you could help us sing it, so we can get through it?" And I was like, "No way,"
Wow.
But they wore me down and they talked me into it. So eventually I did, and they liked what they heard, and they practically begged me to join the band. So cool. I guess after a couple of weeks of them annoying me about it, I finally just said yes, and that was it. That's how it started right there. And the band was called Sabotage, which it was mainly just guys from the high school that I went to. And we started out just playing small gigs at school and, churches near our house in the neighborhood. And eventually we moved up, in the ranks, playing small clubs around the area. And that probably lasted for a year or two, I guess. And then finally, when things really started to happen, I was asked to join a band called Victorian Blitz, which was comprised of a bunch of local guys, and one of them being Kirk Winstein, who is actually the guitar player for Crowbar.
Cool.
And back then, we actually used to open up for Lillian Axe a lot, because, Lillian Axe is one of the bands on the same scene that we were playing, and we played with Lillian a lot in Zebra, cool. And also another band called Razor White, wow. Which was Phil Anselmo, who was the singer for Pantera's original band back then. So right. A lot of us grew up in the same scene down here in the South. So
cool.
That's pretty much how it all got started back then. So that would be, high school days.
Wow. That's some memory, and I guess you just continued and grew, and then you finally got into Lillian Axe. Did you have to be recruited into that band, or how'd that work?
Well, naturally, I saw the ad that Ron was leaving the band when they made the announcement, and
right.
I was friends with Steve, like I said, we used to open up for him back in the
right.
day or whatever, and I think I may have actually, in passing one day, I ran into him. This is actually when they had taken a break between, Psycho Schizophrenia, and before they did the Feel the Yesterday, and then eventually they did the live album. The band had kind of went on a hiatus, and I kind of jokingly said to him one day that, he's like, "Man, we can actually go out and do a tour, but
right.
guys don't want to do it." And I was like, well, I just joked around and said, if you ever need a singer, let me know. And I think he didn't really take me seriously. But anyway, when the time came when Ryan finally did decide to leave the band, I got Steve's phone number from someone, and I just called him up, and I said, "Hey, this is Derrick," and I said, "I see y'all looking for a new singer for the band." I'm like, "I'm the guy for the job." And I basically told Steve, "This is the last phone call you're going to have to make right here." He kind of laughed. He's like, "Oh, really?" So
wow.
He sent me the demo tape
right.
of Waters Rising, which had already been totally demoed with Ron singing on it. So I basically just started learning everything. And he goes, "Well, look, we'll bring you in the studio and just pick 2 songs on the album, and we'll have you come in and sing and see how things go." So I went in. I think the first 2 songs I demoed was Waters Rising and the song Thirst.
Cool. Very cool.
I went in the studio and pretty much just knocked it out, vocals, backing vocals, everything, in like 2 hours. And then I got the phone call that night. "Man, I can't believe you got all that done that fast."
Wow. That's impressive. You stayed with them for 3 albums, right?
Yes.
Right. And, being in Lillian Axe, what would you say was the highlight of being in that band?
The highlight was probably touring with Alice Cooper.
Cool.
That was probably one of the coolest things that we got to do. You know, to actually, I mean, we played with some other, you know, bigger bands before.
Right.
You know, we had opened up for Rat, and we played on, you know, a bunch of different festivals like Rocklahoma and Rock the Bayou and other bands. But you know, this one was just us and Alice Cooper, so it was kind of cool for me, basically, to see how everything operated on a tour like that. And the guys were all so nice to us, and just the whole setup was just, it was 100% pro, you know. It was just really cool, and just, you know, as Alice Cooper, you know, what I was going to say about that.
Wow. I'd have been like going through all the stuff in the back, seeing all his like props and you know, just
that was cool. But man, his crew guys and, you know, all the people associated with the whole outfit were just really cool to us. And him, you know, he's such a super nice guy. I mean, he'd pop his head in the dressing room, you know, every night. Hey guys, how's it going? And just super cool. Yeah, that's all I can say about it.
Cool. Wow. The last album you did was Deep Red Shadows in 2010 with Lillian Axe. Was there any discomfort after that album that you were leaving, or why did you leave?
Not really any discomfort. I mean, there weren't any like hard feelings or anything like that. I just decided at the time that, you know, to keep moving forward, Lillian Axe just wasn't the right thing for me at the time. Financially, mainly, was probably the biggest reason.
Right.
And I didn't leave them hanging or anything like that. You know, I told them ahead of time, and I went in and finished the album even after telling them I was leaving. I said, look, I'll do what I have to do to make it happen, you know, and I finished out some dates and, you know, got it done. It wasn't like there was any animosity or anything like that. We weren't fighting or anything. I mean, it was just, you know, it was just the right time for me to step out, you know. It was just one of those things, I guess. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but... Yeah.
Did you just want to branch out, or, you know, was there family involved? That you know.
Well, at the time, I was a full-time musician. That's what I do for a living.
Right.
You know, that's all I do. I don't have a regular day job. And at the time, I was working 5 nights a week playing on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. I'm sure you've heard about Bourbon Street.
Uh-huh. Yes,
and
I did.
Basically, it was just, you know, it was do Bourbon Street full time and make a living doing that. I was doing pretty well doing that.
Right.
And then I'd have to take off to go out on tour with Lillian Axe, and it just wasn't adding up for me. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Now you're in a Contraflow, a cover band. Tell me a little bit about that.
Contraflow, yeah. Contraflow is a arena rock / classic rock tribute cover band, whatever you want to call it. That's based out of New Orleans.
Right.
I actually live in Biloxi, Mississippi now, but New Orleans is about an hour and a half drive for me. But Contraflow's been around for about 8 years, and I had played with some of the guys before in some previous groups, and the band had a female vocalist, and she decided she wanted out, and they called me and asked me to join, and that's how I got in. And it's great, probably one of the best cover bands I've ever played with. We play anything from Zeppelin, The Journey, The Styx in Kansas and Boston, and just all the heavy, good rock and roll that, you know, that people like. That's what we do, and no gimmicks, just let the music do the talking. Good, real good backing vocals, great musicians, good keyboards, and dual guitar harmonies, and just all that stuff. It's just all in there, man. It's great.
Cool. Does that mean you're back on Bourbon Street again?
No. This band, we play a lot of nightclubs and festivals, and we do some casino gigs, like out here on the coast where I live in Biloxi. We play at the Hard Rock Casino here, and actually the big show we have coming up next month is we're going to be opening for Bret Michaels, actually, in La Rose, Louisiana, for the French Food Festival.
Cool.
It's going to be October 23rd.
Wow. That's pretty cool. You also cut a track, Bringing on the Heartbreak by Def Leppard for the Millennium tribute for Def Leppard Greatest Hits 1980 to 2014. Tell me a little bit about that one.
That whole thing got started. Actually, that's not the first one I've actually done. There's a small record label called Versailles Records.
Right.
Run by a guy named Jake Brown. Actually, right after I first got into Lillian, which was 2004, I got a phone call from him asking me if I'd like to be involved in singing on a Bon Jovi tribute. Was the first one I actually did.
Wow.
They're like, we got one last track we need to finish this album. We just need a lead vocal track, and I went in and did it. And the guy was really hyped up about it. So he just kept getting me involved every year. It's like I've done one every year. I've done a Bon Jovi.
Wow.
Which is called Always, a Millennium tribute to Bon Jovi. I've done a David Lee Roth, a Van Halen,
cool.
A Motley Crue, a Kiss, a Led Zeppelin,
wow.
a Buck Cherry.
Damn. I'm going to have to check all of them out on YouTube, you know, because
you need to look those
I listened to the Bringing on the Heartbreak, and it was great.
Bringing on the Heartbreak was the latest one that was just released.
Right.
I've also done Motley Crue. Did I already say Motley Crue? Ozzy.
Wow.
Iron Maiden, and Whitesnake. So there's several out there. There's probably at least 10 to 12 of them out there. And what they do is they get different musicians from different bands, whether it be knowns or unknowns or whatever, and they just mishmash different guys together, and they do, covers, tribute to whatever band it is. And it's really cool. I mean, I've been paired up with some cool people. I've done some tracks with Kerry Kelly.
Uh-huh.
I've also, actually, the Whitesnake, I was paired up with NLE, which is Steve Blaze's side band from Lillian.
Cool.
Actually, we did a track on one, and I've been paired up with Chris Poland, ex-Megadeth guitar player, Rowan Robertson. So, yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. It's not really a money thing or anything like that. I just do it for the publicity. And
yeah, some great people, too.
It's a lot of fun, and also not only are the known people on there, they also get some up and coming bands to submit tracks. So it's kind of a mix up of each on there. It's pretty cool. And then this leads into another thing now, which I don't know if you know about. I don't know if you've ever heard of a label called Liberty and Justice.
Oh yes, I know. Justin Moore.
Yes.
Yes,
well, I've also
guy.
been involved in a couple of Liberty and Justice tracks as well, which was kind of tied into the Versailles thing. Jake from Versailles actually got involved in one of the Liberty and Justice projects and recruited me in for a song. So I'm actually on 2 Liberty and Justice tracks as well. The first one is called Liberty and Justice for All. It's like a greatest hits. So I sang on a song with a guy named Larry Worley.
Cool.
We did a song called It's actually Christian rock.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So the first one I did was called We Have a God, so you can find that track on that album. And then the second one I did was called Devil His Dues. It's from the album called The Cigar Chronicles. Cigar Chronicles Volume 1 and 2.
I know both. Yeah.
And the Cigar Chronicles actually has covers on one volume and the original tracks on the other, which has a whole lot of superstars on that one too. Kip Winger, you name it. Tony Harnell from TNT. There's tons of people on that, so that's really cool too.
Cool. When you go into a cover song or something, do you have to put yourself in a different mind frame or something like that, or you try to sing like that person, or you just belt it out?
Well, I've always been in cover bands, like I said, from day one. I've been in very few all-original bands, and it's just one of those things that I think I just got really good at from a young age, just emulating people. I mean, when I first started to sing, all I did was just sit in my bedroom, just turn on albums and just sit there and just sing to it.
Right.
And I don't know if I necessarily have to get into a frame of mind. I just do it. I don't even know how to explain it.
Go ahead. What were some of the bands that you did, mimic or whatever in your early days?
Well, when I was coming up, man, I was a huge Kiss fan, of course. I mean, that's what really got me into it was I loved Kiss. And
right.
I was a big Judas Priest fan. I liked Ozzy, Iron Maiden. And, you know, it was a local band in New Orleans, like I said, Zebra. I really liked those guys. So I would just sit in my room and just, you know, belt this stuff out in the bedroom and just learn it and try and get good at it. And then that was it, you know, just a lot of just banging out those tunes in the garage when I was a kid. I guess just eventually just paid off.
Wow. So what does the future hold for you now?
Well, like I said, Contraflow's going strong. We got a pretty solid schedule coming up. We play just about every weekend, so it's pretty busy from now until the end of the year. I think we might have 1 or 2 weeks off. That's it. So it keeps us pretty busy, and we're not the kind of band that just lets our set list go stagnant. We're constantly learning new stuff, so we're changing things around. I mean, I think our song list we're probably getting close to 150 songs, so we have so much material we can just alternate stuff in and out. We just like to change it up a lot. So
very cool.
We're staying pretty busy, and then on the Versailles label, I'd also recorded another track that should be coming out hopefully at the beginning of the year. It's for a Judas Priest tribute. I actually did Hellbent for Leather for that one.
Wow.
So
can't wait
to hear that. You can look for that one soon.
Cool. Well, definitely congratulations, and you know, thanks for bringing, you know, your vocals to, you know, the world and stuff. I loved it when I got to see Lillian Axe live and stuff like that at Starland Ballroom or wherever. But you know, congratulations, and you know, thanks very much. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
I'd just like to thank all the fans who've been around in the past for Lillian Axe or any other band I've been in, and, you know, check out those tunes on Versailles Records if you want to hear anything from me. And you can also check out my band Contraflow at contraflowband.com, and we're also on Facebook, so check us out there. We, you know, see where we're playing. We also put tons of live videos of us on YouTube, so check us out, and thanks.
Thanks a lot, Derrick, man.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.